Hi, this is Jenny Wagner, and I'm going to read you my book, Pete and Pipes and the Y-Stick Adventure. Before we begin, Dr. Granat asked me to let you guys know where this was published at and about how much it cost. So this was published at lulu.com. Cost around a little over $10 a book. Prices vary depending on how many pages you want and whether or not you want black and white or color, the type of book you want, type of binding you want. So I decided I wanted real book in color. It's about 46 pages, a little over $10 a book. So Pete and Pipes and the Y-Stick Adventure. You can see my cute kids running there right there. Pete and Pipes were brother and sister, but they were also the very best of friends. They loved to play and go on wild spy adventures together. One day, as they set out on another exciting spy mission, Pipes looked down and spotted an unusual stick, barely visible, hiding in the midst of some tall grass. She stooped down and picked it up, only to discover it was in the perfect shape of the letter Y. "Look, Pete," she exclaimed, "it's the letter Y." Turning around, Pete saw the stick she was holding. "Cool Pipes," Pete excitedly said back. Holding tightly to the stick, Pipes quickly caught up with Pete, and they continued on their adventure. They crawled behind a row of bushes, leaped over giant puddles of water, and peeked around the side of Miss Marlis's house. Being as quiet as a church mouse, they watched as Miss Marlis filled a watering can with water. "Oh no," they heard her say. Pete and Pipes looked at each other, and without needing to say a word, they jumped from the side of the house to help her out. "What's wrong, Miss Marlis?" Pete asked. "Well, I was going to water my flowers, but this watering can seems to have gotten a hole in it," Miss Marlis replied. "I see," said Pete. "That is a problem." Pipes looked at the water leaking from the can. Then she glanced down at the stick in her hand. With a huge grin on her face, she said, "I know. We can use the Y-Stick to help." Running toward Miss Marlis, Pipes quickly shoved the end of the Y-Stick into the hole. It fit perfectly. The water stopped flowing out of the watering can, and Miss Marlis happily watered her garden. After carefully pouring the water on her flowers, Miss Marlis smiled at the children and went to refill her watering can. After a couple more trips, Miss Marlis's flowers were well watered and looked beautiful. Stooping over, she picked a pink blossom and handed it to Pipes. "Thank you, children," she said. "You have saved my flowers today. I guess I'll go buy another watering can tomorrow." Putting the flower up to her nose, Pipes inhaled the delightful fragrance and retrieved her Y-Stick from the watering can. "Goodbye, Miss Marlis," the children called as they walked away. Resuming their positions as spy agents, Pete and Pipes snuck from tree to tree, spying on squirrels, birds, and the neighbor's dog. Just as they were losing all hope for finding someone in need of their superhero espionage abilities, they spied Graham looking up in a tree. He seemed very upset, so they went to see if their services were needed. "Hi, Graham," Pete said. "What are you looking at?" "Hi, Pete," Graham said sadly. "I was throwing my ball up in the air and catching it. It was so much fun, but the last time I tossed it up, it got stuck in this big tree." "That's terrible," Pete exclaimed. Then, transforming back into a superhero spy agent, he saluted Graham and said, "Captain Pete, at your service. My assistant, Major Pipes, and I will help you retrieve your ball from this tree." Meanwhile, Pipes was observing the scene and holding the Y-Stick. "I know," she shouted. "We can use the Y-Stick to help." Pipes reached into her hair and took out the rubber band holding her ponytail in. As her curly hair fell upon her shoulders, she wrapped the rubber band around the Y-Stick, creating a slingshot. "Great idea, Pipes," Pete shouted. He immediately set out gathering up small round rocks. Pipes handed the stick to Pete, and he carefully placed a rock in the back of the rubber band. Pulling back on the band, Pete aimed the rock at the ball and let go. The rock soared through the air and plunked right on the center of the ball. The ball wobbled and wobbled, teetered and tottered, and slowly began to slide away from the branch holding it captive. As it was freed, it picked up speed and fell to the ground right in front of Graham. You can see right there the ball. "Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Pipes," Graham shouted as he picked up the ball and ran back toward his house. "That was fun," Pete said. "This stick sure has come in handy today." Pete handed the stick back to Pipes, and they continued on their adventure. Ducking behind trees and bushes and sneaking across alleyways, they soon came up to Miss Clara's house. They heard a loud screech coming from inside the house. I wonder what's going on in there, Pete thought aloud. Let's go see if Miss Clara needs help, Pipes said. Pete and Pipes snuck up the sidewalk and rang Miss Clara's doorbell. Miss Clara answered the door and excitedly welcomed Pete and Pipes in. We thought you sounded upset, Miss Clara, so we came to see if we could help, Pete explained. I most certainly am, stated Miss Clara. You see, there's a bird loose in my dining room, and I can't seem to help it find its way back outside. That is a big problem, Pete said, as they followed her to the dining room. When they entered the room, they saw a small red bird perched atop Miss Clara's china cabinet. The bird looked frightened. You see, Miss Clara began, there are no doors leading outside in this room, and I can't seem to get my window to stay open long enough for the bird to fly out. Said Pete. I wonder how we can help. I know, Pipes exclaimed. We can use the Y-stick to help. Pipes ran to the window and pushed it open. She stuck the Y-stick in the opening and used it to prop up the window. Pipes then stepped back and could see there was a gap just big enough for the bird to safely escape from the room. Thank you, Pipes, Miss Clara said. That should do the trick. They shut all the doors to the dining room. Excuse me. To see if the bird can, Let's shut all the doors to the dining room to see if the bird can find its way out the window. While they waited for the bird to escape, Miss Clara took the kids to the kitchen for some cookies and milk. I think that was probably their favorite part of making this book. A little while later, they went back to check on the bird. It's gone, Pete shouted. Oh, thank you, children, said Miss Clara. Pete and Pipes retrieved their Y-stick from the window and shut it tightly so no more birds could fly in. They waved goodbye to Miss Clara and continued on their adventure. He suddenly realized how late it was getting. We better get home, Pipes, he said. Forgetting they were on a spy mission, the two raced back down the street to their house. As they entered their house, their mama and daddy were there to greet them. Pete and Pipes started a mile a minute, telling them all about their exciting spy adventures. Wow, Daddy said, it sounds like you've had a very exciting day. That's the end. Hope you enjoyed it. Been enjoying watching all your videos.